Back to KTM. Let's go racing. Adam Cianciarulo leads him into the first turn and out. And Christian Craig and Chase Sexton right behind him.
Yeah, when you got that side shot, it looked like Adam Cianciarulo had the whole shot about 5 feet over the gate. That was a picture-perfect start for him.
Well, he's had a lot of those. The starts have not been a problem for Cianciarulo, nor has the speed. But he's had a couple of tip-overs and crashes. That have cost him. He's got his running mate, Chase Sexton. They're on different teams, but they ride together during the week at the James Stewart compound in Florida. And it looks like Sexton was able to maneuver his way to the #2 spot.
Yeah, look at Cianciarulo. He's good at kind of attacking the track quick and early. A couple of mistakes, nothing major there, but already behind Sexton, Craig putting the pressure on.
Yeah, they've gone back and forth already. They were almost side by side coming out of turn 1, and they're almost side by side again. And then Roczen, who's always quick early in the race, he has moved his way up into 4th, and he's got Cooper Webb and Marvin Musquin right behind him.
Well, the KTM riders certainly are looking for a good result. The first 2 rounds certainly not what they wanted. I think Roger DaCosta certainly expects more out of his guys. And with the weekend off, we had a look. But with that weekend off, we know they worked really hard at trying to find some settings where the guys were comfortable. And so far, at least, it looks pretty good.
Roczen, can he make the move on Craig? That was 2-3 corners to pull that off. Craig tried a wide line to maybe make a move on Sexton. Roczen closed in. 3 turns later, Roczen has completed the pass, so he's up to 3rd. So 2 Hondas battling for the #2 spot.
Yeah, Roczen, after watching his ride from 2 weeks ago in Colorado, he was just so good and meticulous, and I feel like this track is going to suit him. See how he finds the good lines where not everyone's going. He's going to get a good drive up the hill. Chase able to close the door.
Roczen around the outside here. Oh, he knifed back to the inside.
Yeah, these 2 riders they're different techniques, but they're both very good. You see they're calm. Yes, that's Jay Dungy, Chase Sexton's mechanic, giving him the signal. Wants his guy to focus forward, not worry about what's happening behind him.
Oh, we got a dogfight between the teammates now. Roczen, again, so good in the early laps. This is where he does his best work. He wants to get around his teammate.
Sexton took the inside lines there, was protective, but didn't make any mistake, didn't leave an opportunity for Roczen to get around him. Roczen tried that outside, actually lost a couple bike lengths.
Yeah, look at Craig getting right back in the picture here on that Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha. Meanwhile, it's the Monster Energy Kawasaki of Cianciarulo just starting to edge away a bit from Sexton and Roczen. And then another battle. I think Ferrandis is trying to get around Musquin. And this is what we expect from this 450 class early in the season. Look at that dogfight back there. Eli Tomac, I think, getting in on it as well. It's top 10, especially in Moto 1 this year. It's been really fun to watch, shuffling every time you look at it.
Well, we've even talked about, some of the top riders, even Aaron Plessinger rounds out a top 10. He looked good in practice as well earlier, and kind of expect him to start moving forward. I think he'll join this battle pretty soon.
Roczen going back to work on Sexton with Craig flanking him. It's inside. It's been good to threaten the rider in front of you. We haven't seen anyone use it to make a pass yet. And there you did see Roczen close the gap up.
Yeah, those bumps on the inside are just enough to slow the riders down. It's a much shorter distance, but a lot rougher ride. See, Kenny got a little off balance there, foot off.
There's Noren. We mentioned the privateer there. He has gone down. So that'll certainly hurt his result, especially when you do it early in the race and you're just in this thick pack. So tough break there from Freddie, while Cianciarulo has got it up to 2.4 seconds over Sexton. But again, the early race speed has not been the problem. This really gives you an idea of the field and what it's like when you're running at mid-pack on one of these motos for Noren and everyone that's around him.
Yeah, you can see it gets a little crazy at times because you've got riders going everywhere. We'll have to see how many spots Freddie lost in that little mistake of his.
It's Nathan Augustin there on the 155, who's essentially been side by side with him the whole time. Back to our leader, Cianciarulo. Ooh, don't go down. That has been the problem. He's crashed early in motos twice this year. Roczen is back all over Sexton again. This outside did not work the last time. He's just trying to go wherever Sexton is not. Roczen just charging down that hill.
Problem is, though, with it being off camber, he has to go to the outside, and it's quite a little ways out there. So everything he makes up on the downhill, he loses by adding on those extra 20, 30 yards. Oh, Kenny got that little step down through that turn. That's been a real awkward jump for everyone.
Yeah, got it from the inside there as well. Let's get a status report on the 23 of Sexton. Ashley.
Yeah, Chase Sexton mentioned that he had a good couple of weeks off, although he's back in Florida. He was happy to be home. However, he has a little bit of a sinus infection at the moment. He says his energy feels fine. He's just really congested, so that might come into play as we get later into this moto.
Oh yeah, breathing super critical. Heart rate monitors on these riders. It's unbelievable what they do. They're running 180, 190 for half hour plus. So breathing could be an issue.
Well, he can also thank the weather gods, because you don't get this kind of lovely temperature in the middle of summer. Usually it's hot and humid out here, and it is certainly a lot better than it normally would be. So for Sexton, that'll help him. Oh, mistake there from Bogle.
Yeah, he was in 12th, and now we hear that Craig has gone down, and somehow Dylan Ferrandis has moved all the way up to 4th. So he has gotten around Musquin and Webb, and then the down Craig. I think Eli Tomac's in a hurry as well, as we see Bogle getting back on track. So he was on the verge of top 10 there, Bogle. That slowed him up. So Cianciarulo continues to lead Sexton and Roczen here at High Point. And there is our race leader.
Yeah, that lead's kind of yo-yoed just a little bit. At one point, it looked like he was pulling away. Then it looked like Sexton and Roczen were coming back on him. Now these riders just spreading out just a little bit. But once again, Dylan Ferrandis doing great work in the opening laps. And guess who was the fastest man on the track last lap? Dylan Ferrandis.
This guy's going to be dangerous to deal with in the 450 class. Last year's 250 champion, the runner-up of the 250 series the year before that. And I think once we figured out this guy had the 450 dialed in, track to track, week to week, you can count on him being in it. So we see Webb and now Tomac battling it out. And Joey Savatgy right behind them. So Savatgy and Plessinger have slipped around Musquin.
Well, for Webb and Tomac, this is actually turning out to be one of probably their best moto so far of the season. And it's not often we talk about Eli having a great moto while in 6th place, but he has been way off, but he's been off of the lead pack. And this is one of the few times where, even when you look at the lap times right now, you know, only a little bit off the top pace. So both these riders on screen have found a little something in the gap, whether it's getting more comfortable, maybe doing some more outdoor motos. Maybe they just needed a rest. You know, they've come off 17 Supercross rounds. Sometimes that can take its toll on guys, and you can almost overwork yourself trying to correct all your mistakes.
Webb told me yesterday he did not do outdoor riding really during the Supercross title chase, and he took a week off after Supercross to really just celebrate winning that title. And that left him only 2 weeks before this series began. So he didn't expect to be great at the opening 2 rounds, but he didn't expect it to go as bad as it did. We've been mentioning between Webb and Tomac and Musquin, 3 of the most established names in this series. Between the 3 of them, 1 top 5 moto finish so far, and that was Webb in the opening moto of the series. So you could be looking at a battle for the lead a lot of times. Right now it's 5th, 6th. Look at Aaron Plessinger duking it out with Savatgy.
Their lines came together there. Oh! That was, oh, well, I shouldn't even say super close. They were rubbing shoulders coming up that hill there, but I saw a little spark in AP's riding from the opening lap of practice. He seemed excited. He wanted to be out there. He's had a good start to the season. Now he's back. It's not exactly his home track, but he's in his neck of the woods. He's got a lot of fans, a lot of support. I heard the fans cheering for him in practice, and he just looked like someone that came here to do damage.
And he's looking to do damage on Tomac now. He slipped around Savatgy. Couldn't have slipped a slip of paper between them while doing it, and he is going right after Tomac.
He's attacking that outside. Can he get that bike settled and turn? Unfortunately, I think Eli is still going to be able to pinch that inside. That downhill, a little frustrating. I think riders think, oh, I've got it. Wait, no, I had to go 30 yards further. Yeah. There was a bit of a berm out there that could carry more speed, but see AP using some sweeping lines right there.
Trying to get Tomac. Now way around the outside. And this is what Plessinger has been waiting for. He likes the rutted tracks, and he's using them to his advantage. You see Bogle went into the mechanics area after that early crash. Back to this battle. This is 6th and 7th, and standing up on the pegs around the outside. Can Plessinger complete the pass? He does.
That was pretty right there. Well set up. And then still, you saw how he got on the brakes super hard to make that inside, because he knew he could pinch Tomac at the exit as that inside drifted to the outside. Just a well thought out pass right there.
So Plessinger will now try to go after his former teammate Webb. They used to ride together in their 250 days on Yamahas. Could be a good battle there for the number 5 spot. Ferrandis in 4th. Roczen was really challenging Sexton early, but he has settled into 3rd. Sexton 2nd. Cianciarulo still leads. Looks like Tomac wants to come back at Plessinger.
It's funny how this sport works. 1 minute, 1 year, Eli Tomac cannot get beat, and Aaron Plessinger can't get going, and then flip it a year or two later, and it's the complete opposite.
No, I think it's probably surprised a lot of these guys. I mean, Tomac has been the man to beat in this series for a long time, and he's in this pack. But right now, Cianciarulo is starting to get away from it. You mentioned it earlier. It is that yo-yo battle. Cianciarulo will gain a few bike lanes on Sexton. Sexton will reel it back in. I'd say over the last half lap or so, probably advantage Sexton.
Yeah, certainly has, because Sexton's actually given himself a little bit of a cushion from Kenny, and quite possibly Kenny's just going, okay, I've had a couple lunges, I've gone through tear-offs, I've been roosted, I'm just going to sit here for a little bit, plenty of time, because he can now see, as long as you can see the leader, you're never too panicked, you know, sitting back in 3rd, because a lot of times you have that confidence in yourself going, okay, when I decide to wick it up at the end of this moto, I'm going to pass him here, and I got this secret line there. So Kenny also another one that's just really smart, uses the entire 30 minutes plus 2 laps to put a moto together. Adam likes to get a good start, put his head down, and I know deep down in the back of his mind he's thinking, don't tuck the front end.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, he went down last race in Colorado like that. Went down while leading at our first race. That was from hitting a rock, or as he said, it was a full-on boulder. But either way, the crashes have cost him dearly.
Well, yeah, we actually saw one of those shots from an aerial shot where you saw a big rock sitting on the outside of that rut. So I think that was what disrupted him. But you got to see that too. You know, it's easy to blame the track, but you know, at the end of the day, he hit it and dislodged it. So got to avoid those little mistakes. And it's always easy to criticize from the outside. But Cianciarulo, what I do like is he's had this head down mentality, just meaning like, he's not looking around. He's not doing all this stuff. He's just doing what he can, and he's trying to stay focused and not make those little mistakes.
MAV TV brings you the Lucas Oil Racing Block. See new episodes of the American Sprint Car Series, Pro Pulling League, Late Model Dirt Series, and much more weeknights on MAV TV. It's the Lucas Oil Racing Block. We've got more racing here, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Unfortunately, we're missing 2 big names in this 450 class. Zach Osborne, your defending series champ, had a back injury dating back to Supercross, rehabbed, got back at the beginning of this series, jammed the back again at our last race, and he has called it a summer. Press release came out Thursday night that Zach is out for the rest of this series as he tries to rehab that back again. And Jason Anderson, his teammate, has a broken hand. We might get Anderson back by the end of the year. If he is back, just join this pack. It has been exciting to watch the racing this year. We have a not 1, but 2, but 3 rider battle up front.
Well, right when we came back from commercial, if you saw in the background there, Cianciarulo went off track, clipped the banners, and they almost wrapped up in that rear tire. That could have been disastrous, but it lost him probably almost a second right there and really brought this front pack a lot closer. But for Cianciarulo, just a little warning there from the motorcycle underneath him. I think the wheels just washed out a tad. I like that line. He was coming in a little bit wide and cutting over those ruts. And a lot of times just finding that smooth real estate makes a huge difference.
Shortening the track as much as he can, staying on the inside. And Roczen is not out of this one from 3rd at all. And he has a lot more experience than these two. It's 2nd year in the 450 division outdoors for both Cianciarulo and Sexton. Is Roczen going to be able to wait them out? We'll see.
Well, one thing I have noticed is I thought, all right, Ferrandis has clear track in front of him now. He could try and charge and catch these guys, but I don't know if he quite has the pace. Let's see when they cross the finish line now. Last lap, Cianciarulo 2:08.7. That little mistake, I think, cost him. Behind him, Sexton 2:07.9. Roczen 2:07.3. Ferrandis picked it up a second that lap. So didn't lose any ground, but didn't gain any.
Gaining ground is Sexton. He is all over Cianciarulo now in the crowd here at High Point. begins to stir. We got a battle for the lead on our hands, and again, it's a 3-rider battle.
And then a little mistake there from Sexton.
Yeah.
And then I think, did Roczen make a mistake as well?
Yeah, suddenly
Roczen lost a ton of
way
ground.
back. Yeah. Roczen went down at that tunnel. Roczen went down at the tunnel jump. Sexton made a mistake at the tunnel jump. But still plenty of racing to go. 15 minutes down, 15 minutes left. You'd save 15% or more on your insurance by calling Geico. This is the Geico High Point Motocross National. So temporary relief from the pressure that was being applied to Cianciarulo.
Yeah, right. As you said it, when Sexton got to him, Sexton made a mistake in that corner. I think the rut got a little, as you say, blown out, like it has a little break in it in the middle. And then after Sexton made a mistake in the background, Roczen ended up just tucking the front as well, going down.
And now we see Ferrandis ahead of Roczen, so that cost him dearly. Points between the rider that he's battling for the series lead early in this championship with. That is Ferrandis, beneficiary moving up to third, and there he is. Whoa, and he almost threw it away.
He landed in those ruts there. That could have been ugly, as you said, but hey, just with that little mistake from Roczen, he lost the points lead.
And look at this battle. Tomac has not let go of Plessinger. He's trying to get him right back, and they're all over Cooper Webb.
Yeah, obviously for the best thing right now for AP, Aaron Plessinger, is to get around Cooper Webb and try and use him as a bit of a buffer. But we have seen it time and time again. Catching Cooper Webb is one thing. Getting around him, slightly different story. He can make that KTM wider than a quad.
All right, so Plessinger's going to try the wide line here. This will put him on the inside of the downhill. Who's going to risk it?
AP was launching off that jump earlier in practice. He's been strong down here. Puts him on the inside. Nothing Webb can do to counter that. And that was big for AP right there. For Cooper, still signs of need some work to be done, but he's, I feel like, much more in the battle than he was the first 2 rounds. They just got around him and left him. Now at least he's in there, he's scrapping.
And now it's down to Tomac battling Webb as Plessinger tries to get away. Here's the billboard turn, rebuilt and reborn here at High Point. We hook back onto the start stretch. Good battle here between the 2 and the 3.
Yeah, they grade that after the first turn for the start, but you see what happens. There's only that one inside rut, so no matter where they come, they're all filtering into that one line. So tough spot to try and make a pass right there, but definitely a lot of lines to choose from in this part of the track.
No change up front. Cianciarulo has 2.8 seconds over Sexton. Still Ferrandis, Roczen, Plessinger, and then these 2. And behind them, you'd have Savatgy. Ooh, Tomac's got an opportunity here.
He's using those outsides. But Webb is just so efficient, keeping it tight and not making a mistake and making them have to do all that work going the long way around. As I said, so that little mistake I mentioned when we came back from break from Adam Cianciarulo. Watch this. The back end comes around on him just a little bit there, you see? And he lands, catches the banners, and that could have been really bad. And thankfully, go see him look down. If he had seen the banners attached to his bike, he would have been going, oh no, oh no. They can get wrapped up in the rear wheel and they start melting, and then you lose your rear brake.
Yeah, so
or it locks up your wheel.
Oh,
worse.
And then a lap later, it was Sexton and Roczen having trouble in the same section of the track. So Cianciarulo is up to a 3-second lead now. The battle's all over this track. Webb staying close to Plessinger and Tomac all over Webb. Last time around, Cianciarulo a little bit quicker than Sexton again. So it's 3 seconds is the lead. It was 2.8 at one point. Now it's 3. So Adam has settled down. Sexton was putting the pressure on. The crowd was beginning to sense it. And Sexton made a mistake. We will see if Sexton can dig down deep here. About 10 minutes to go in this moto.
Well, we've mentioned a few times about the mistakes that Cianciarulo's made while being out front, things like that. But I also feel like we don't give him enough credit of riding under immense pressure for an entire moto. That is so difficult. If I'm being completely honest, I think I would have made more mistakes by this point. Knowing that these guys behind you, when you can't shake them, you know, it's hard. It messes with your head because you're like, am I taking the right lines? What are they doing that I'm not? You know, it's really easy to go down that rabbit hole of what if and what do I need to change. It's far easier being behind, but this guy has a good head on his shoulders. Yes, he's not perfect, but I do have a lot of respect for how he's able to manage pressure. He's done it his whole life, so I think he's gotten used to that.
Well, especially in his 250 championship campaign in 2019. Lots of pressure in lots of motos. The starts are always strong for Adam, and he was able to survive a lot of attacks from Dylan Ferrandis to win that title. Sexton still lurking back there, though. He's taken it from 3 seconds back to 2.7. It's been that way the entire moto. One rider puts together a good lap, the other does.
Yeah, you can see their last lap times on the side there. All pretty close considering, and it's just yo-yoed a little bit between the 207 and 208s.
I think this time around it might be advantage Sexton. We will see. We're a couple turns away from another split as they come through the finish line. Geico Motorcycle High Point National. Adam Cianciarulo leads. Can he hold on to win it? Less than 10 minutes and 2 laps to go. About the 9-minute mark now. And we will see if Chase Sexton from second is closing in. No, first half of the track, Sexton made up 3/10.
Sure.
Second half of the track, Cianciarulo got the 3/10 right back.
And that's actually been pretty consistent when you look at it. At certain splits, the gap's different, and in the finish line, it certainly changes as well. But this is the tough part of the moto. You're Cianciarulo, you're coming into lappers. You've been leading this thing. You've had that yo-yo lead. It's not a comfortable lead. You're one little bobble away from having pressure again. So he's got to just stay focused, try and stick with the lines that he knows has been working for him, which is easier said than done when you're having to switch your lines for lap riders, but a lot of them doing a good job of trying to stay out of this lead battle.
We'll show you how Cianciarulo got the lead. It was right off the start. He is one of the best in this class, and he's claimed himself another motorsport.com whole shot.
Yeah, there you saw it. Kind of from the middle of the start, gives you a good apex into the first turn. You don't want to be on the very inside because it's a very tight entrance, which means you have to brake more. But even the way he got into that turn, he let the rear come around and then power slid through that, like just perfect. But when we saw the original shot from the side of the start gate, I mean, you just saw that green fender out in front of everyone immediately.
Starts have not been an issue this summer, really not often for Cianciarulo. I think he's stretching it back out a little more on Sexton. But still enough time for things to change in a hurry. 7.5 minutes and 2 laps left. Ferrandis all by himself in third. Then it's Roczen, Plessinger, Tomac, Scott and Webb for 6th. Savatgy, Musquin, Barsha from pretty far back rounds out the top 10.
Well, that's actually a pretty big gap. I think Adam got through that lap traffic phenomenally, and I'm wondering if the 23 got to, if Sexton is able to get through clean, won't lose too much ground either. There's the, we've had the crafty Frenchman, we've had all the different kind. I'm trying to put my finger on this guy, but he is relentless. Like, when you say don't give up, fight till the end, you know, maybe what he lacks in just sometimes raw speed or raw talent, and I'm not saying he lacks either of those, believe me, he's got a lot of it. But, you know, you talk about Sexton, like, oh, he's so beautiful and natural on the bike. Ferrandis is just, watch how he moves on that bike and manipulates it. It's just really cool to watch how he puts that bike where he wants it.
And just looking back there in third on the Monster Star Yamaha, the 14. He get a mistake out of one of the 2 riders ahead of him. He's right in the thick of it.
Well, the big picture for him is he's ahead of Roczen. So I know it's
oh, Kenny's not giving up on it. Look at Kenny's charging.
Yeah, Kenny's thinking the same thing. I don't want to.
So.
I like this red background on my red Honda.
Yeah, so this is impressive. Roczen showing strength late in the motos so far this year. And then next in the order would be Plessinger. Thought Plessinger might be able to make a run, but it stayed about the same between the Ferrandis Roczen group and him. But he has gotten away from the Tomac and Webb battle. So another solid moto for AP. Aaron Plessinger in the top 5. Cianciarulo trying to win it. Back to our race leader, Adam Cianciarulo. The clock just keeps ticking off, and it doesn't change. It's just 3 seconds and change each time. You see Cianciarulo and Sexton, 2 sparring partners during the week. They do their motos at the same track, Stewart Compound, near Orlando, Florida. So they're definitely familiar. Probably done a lot of 30+2s during the week, but it's a little bit different when it's racing and points are on the line.
Oh, absolutely. Every weekend's a whole different. Even when you go to the same track, it's different each year. So this is about willpower.
Cianciarulo trying to collect his first moto victory of the season. Catch the ARCA Menards Series live on MAV TV. It's the future stars of NASCAR right here. Check mavtv.com for a schedule. Well, at one point, Adam Cianciarulo, Chase Sexton, they were considered the future stars of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, but now they're in the 450 class, and they are running 1-2. And you got Dylan Ferrandis, who's actually a rookie on a 450 in third. Although Ferrandis is actually a little older than the two of them. He's well seasoned, been around racing a long time in his native Europe, and then spent a lot of time in the U.S. as well. But essentially, you're looking at 2 second-year riders and a first-year 450 rider, 1, 2, 3 right now. So things are changing in a hurry in this class.
Well, the other thing that's changing is Sexton was almost, well, yeah, 2 seconds quicker than Adam Cianciarulo on that last lap. So that 4.5 second buffer is now 2.7. So once again, just if AC sees that on his pit board, it's like, there's nothing worse than a guy catching you late in the moto. You try not to hang it out and make that mistake that you know people are waiting to jump on your back about. Like, oh, what'd you do again?
Yep.
So this is going to feel like probably an hour plus 4 lap moto for this guy, because he's just had to do it, trying to look forward, focus. I think he's good at reading, you know, the pit board and racing the pit board, just looking at lap times, how much time is left, and trying to manage it.
Yeah, it was a bad lap for both Cianciarulo and Ferrandis last time around. They ran 209s, where Sexton stayed in the 207 range, which is where these three have been most of this race. We'll get another lap time from Cianciarulo in a moment, and we'll see if he's back into the 207s.
Well, in that just that half a lap, that back section went from
Unbelievable.
2.5 seconds back to 4.5. So must have made a mistake from Sexton.
Yeah, we thought he might be right there here on this Honda HRC machine. Back to the top of High Point. And we'll get the lap time in a moment. Yep, Cianciarulo got back into the 207. So he had a bad lap. I don't know if it was lap traffic or a mistake.
And then look at Sexton's lap time, 2:10.
Wow. Both these guys are going to look back and say, well, if it wasn't for this lap, well, if it wasn't for this lap, if it wasn't for this lap. They've both had the same pace. It's just been an exchange of one guy has a good lap and one guy makes the mistake. And just as quickly as we thought Ferrandis was coming, they put a little more distance on him.
I'm also looking at the weather. You see the sun coming out at times, but then some of the shots in the background, the clouds look very dark. So even for the vision, you know, tinted, roll-offs, tear-offs, clear lens, you know, what are you running?
And then a lap or so ago, Roczen on this hill was really making a charge to try to get back to the rear fender of Ferrandis. It was a crash by Roczen that cost him. He was in third. It looked like he was going to make a push toward the lead duo, and he fell. Not only did he lose ground on those two riders, but Ferrandis has pulled back away. Very early in the series, but we're seeing these four probably throw Plessinger in that group, trying to make a breakaway from everyone else. Talking to Ferrandis a little bit. The last couple of years, he has been California-based, but that Star Racing Yamaha team has purchased the Goat Farm. That's Ricky Carmichael's property in Tallahassee, and they're finally going to start riding there full-time starting this week. That will include Plessinger as well. Plessinger a little bummed. He actually owned a house in the Tallahassee, Florida area, and he sold it about 2 years ago.
Oh, boy.
And now he's going to move back, and I said, let me guess. Cost a lot more to buy that house now.
You can have your same house back for twice the price.
He said, yeah, it's about 200 grand more than it was when he bought it in 2018. So he's got a couple decisions to make. But he is happy to get to the East. Ferrandis, we asked him about it. I think he's going to be happy to ride in Florida as well. Here's Tomac. Had a battle with Plessinger, didn't want to let him go. Stayed close for a while. They put distance between, or Plessinger's put distance between himself and Tomac, but Tomac has won the battle with Webb. So a little better progress for Tomac and Webb. They stayed in the fight, but in the end, it's still going to be a pretty good distance by the end of this moto if it stays this way.
Here's those clouds I was talking about. Yeah, they're definitely closer, exactly, because if you go look at some of the previous motos at this point in the race, they were about a minute off the lead. And you can see with the pylon on the left there, they've basically cut that in half. So progress.
That's right. And next up in our group, the the Rocky Mountain ATV MC KTM of Joey Savatgy. Savatgy finally putting a solid moto together here. He has had this type of pace all year, but we've seen a couple of crashes cost him, often late when he's running in that pack. So good for Savatgy here trying to finish it off.
Well, like you said, Weege, with this result, he will be a rock star when he gets back to the track.
Oh, okay, all right. It has been a rocky road for the Rocky Mountain rider. Yeah, only one top 10 moto so far for Savatgy, and that's a 10th in our first moto last week. Now he's running 7th. Marvin Musquin will come through next. Not as much progress from Marv, who has been around that 9-10 spot so far this year, and here he is again on the Red Bull KTM in 9th. Puzzling.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Sexton! Second place rider is down. Roczen goes by. I'm sure Ferrandis did as well.
So that will push him probably to 5th, 4th or 5th.
Probably 4th. I don't think we saw Plessinger quite yet, but he's got to try to recover his rhythm and pace. And I think we have a replay of what happened to the 23.
Look at the right-hand side as we zoom in. Yep, we've seen that. We saw that several times in qualifying practice when guys were trying to put in hot laps. There's just a little crest, a little jump coming in that turn. And if you sort of kind of over-jump it, basically get a little too light, all of a sudden you miss that rut. A very easy mistake to have happen, but usually you do that early in the race rather than later in the race, but
doesn't take much. With these tricky tracks, one little lapse of concentration, so that's going to cost Sexton dearly. Goes from 2nd to 4th, and now Cianciarulo has a big lead, and it's only 2 laps to go.
Yeah, this is a great position now for Adam. Like I said, the first 30 minutes had to have felt like an hour, but when you get that pit board plus 11, 2 laps to go, that's like, I can back it off and cruise. Because I think the track is really tricky. You watch the riders, they're trying to go fast, but a lot of like bike movement, a lot of little mistakes.
Back to Plessinger here. He had a lot of ground to make up. Even with the crash from Sexton, he's not that close. Back to our leader. Cianciarulo, definitely one of the popular riders out here. The High Point fans cheering him on, as it looks like, not to put the commentator's curse on here, but he looks to be a lap and a half away from a moto win with that 11.5-second lead. And this is good progress for AC, who admitted he didn't quite have the pace the final 10 minutes of the moto at our first few rounds. He's hoping by getting back to Florida and just logging a lot more time, he'd get that endurance up. And he was under pressure most of the way here, and we did not see a fade at all.
No, these cooler conditions, I think, help. One of the things I do believe riders would probably struggle with the most today would be arm pump. When you get those big bumps, the big ruts, see how they stand everywhere. If you're just holding on a little bit tight, arm pump becomes a big issue. I saw a lot of riders rubbing their forearms between practices and after practice. But fortunately, not that hot out today, so that helps, obviously, everyone.
Cianciarulo going to be headed toward the white flag here. I think that's Chris Canning taking the blue flag, saying the leader is behind you. And Canning moves over to the side of the racetrack. Canning, one of the privateers out of New England, his first appearance of the year. And here is Cianciarulo about to see the white flag. So we will have a, if he holds on, I know it's if. It's been Ferrandis and Roczen taking all of the moto wins so far. So we'll have a new winner. If it ends this way, it'd be the first win for Cianciarulo in a moto since Thunder Valley last year, but that was actually in August, late in the campaign. Actually, no, it wasn't August. We raced into October last year. As we pushed the calendar back a little bit, now back toward the traditional dates. And Cianciarulo's got it dialed in right now.
Yeah, he's just obviously not letting his guard down, but staying focused, but doesn't have to override the track on this last lap. Just stick to your lines, do it nice and coordinated and organized. Even though Ferrandis is closing on him, 8 seconds is too big of a gap on this last lap. It would take for something catastrophic from the number 9 to change that. But once again, Ferrandis moving forward, making progress. He's going to beat his rival Roczen. He's going to temporarily take the points lead back by 1. So he went from 1 down to 1 up. I think for Cianciarulo, this is going to be a huge win mentally, he gets tired of, like anyone would, tired of people going, what happened? You keep making the same mistake. You know, why do you keep doing that? It's like, I want to say, really? You want me to answer that? I don't do it on purpose, guys. I'm out here doing everything I can. And then now he can say, see, it does work sometimes. What I've been working on. I know him and Nick Way work pretty well together. Nick, a former racer, former winner.
Yeah, that's his everything. I don't even know if you can really classify it. You could say riding coach, but it's mentor. They spent a lot of time together, and Cianciarulo really considers himself just part of the Way family because Nick's got two young racers coming up, and Adam is certainly friendly with them as well. Nick, one of the good guys in the pits, and the work they've put together in these last 2 weeks has paid off. Cianciarulo has led laps and gotten starts early in this series, but this time he's looking to turn that into a moto win. And Sexton went down in second, but he could take some confidence. He was running well in this moto for the majority of it as well. So the two young kids showing they can get right back in it. Here it is. 5th career moto win. Ryder goes down right in front of Cianciarulo. He goes down. He keeps the bike running, and he will walk it across the line. Unbelievable drama at the end, and Cianciarulo is going to take the most unorthodox moto victory.
Oh, my goodness. I was going to say, you've got to be kidding me, but another reason, maybe don't let it get too close on the last lap in case something like that happens, but I have never seen that happen. That was,
Yeah, he probably did lose 2-3 seconds right there in that exchange, and luckily Ferrandis was not close enough. Got to laugh that one off. Little extra, yeah, there we go. Little extra heart rate spike and drama there at the end, but Cianciarulo has come out on top.
you know, there was
Definitely a unique way to finish and get that moto win. Adam Cianciarulo, you told us after the last round that you weren't sure you had 30 minutes plus 2 in you. What changed on the break?
Yeah, I mean, I think just having 2 weeks back in Florida, really grinding, did a couple moto days riding with Chase and really pushing each other. So that, and I think I just rode pretty efficiently here. I think this type of track suits me well. And honestly, normally I kind of judge myself. I try to judge myself based off my best, and that time I had just really bad arm pump, and I was really hanging on for dear life with my legs, and it didn't feel like such a great ride for me, so definitely feel like I can improve. Normally arm pump's a little better in the second moto, as most of you guys know, so yeah, really excited to get that win. And then, yeah, a little fire drill there at the end. It's like kind of funny, you know, the guy just absolutely love it. Guy just dumped the clutch right in front of me, and yeah, I tried to wheelie over his bike and got up real quick, but yeah, it's memories, I guess.
What a great way to finish this moto #1. Are you going to take anything out of this into the second one?
Yeah, I think more of the same off the start. Just ripped the start, visualized it in my head, saw it, did it. I think just need to adapt a little better. I stayed in some of the same lines. I had a really cool line over there after the big quad, jumping over that inside of the single there, so maybe see if that's available. But more of the same, just whatever it is, as long as it's my best, I'll be happy with it.
Well, his best worked in this moto. Your winner right here today for moto #1. It was all about limiting your mistakes out there. Dylan Ferrandis, congratulations on this second place finish in moto #1. What was it about this track that enabled people to make so many mistakes?
Track is really technical today. Struggling a little bit. Bike is maybe a little stiff for a track like today. It was hard. I get a little arm pump, but I gave everything. I got a good start, and I made a mistake in the first turn. I slide, and yeah, fight my way to the front, and I was behind Kenny, trying the best I can, and then he crashed, and Chase crashed, and yeah, the last lap I saw Adam did a small mistake. I don't know, with the lap before the finish. That was crazy, but yeah, struggling a little bit. This track is definitely not easy today. But yeah, the second finish in front of Ken is the most important, I think, for me. And yeah, the bike was great. Another good job from my team, Yamaha Star Racing, Monster Energy, and all the people behind pushing. Toyota Escondido, 100%, Tor, Alpine Star, Baird, everybody behind us, and all the team, and yeah, my wife, my trainer. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on the second place finish. Best of luck in the next moto. Can you hear those fans? They are definitely cheering for Ken Roczen right now. Ken, you had a mistake in that moto out there. How were you able to rebound, put it behind you, and get up here on the podium?
Yeah, Chase went into that rut and he stuffed it a little bit, so the rut kind of fell over. He almost crashed, and then it took me straight down. So it was a bummer for that. And then afterwards, I kind of lost my rhythm a little bit, but Chase went down, and then I'm just glad to be on the podium, you know. I have fun racing right now, and the fans out here are absolutely amazing. You guys are loud. Guys make a lot of noise, so that makes it a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.
The crowd is definitely behind Ken Roczen as we head out of Moto #1 celebration.
The all-new Geomax MX34 is the latest result of Dunlop's ongoing development with the help of top motocross pros. The all-new Geomax MX34 is the new industry standard for soft to intermediate terrain. Experience the advantage